All right, folks, it's another Friday here in the life of the world. December 20th in the Gregorian calendar, 2019. 5 days to go to Christmas, so a Merry Christmas to you one more time. Gentlemen, Jide and Martin, let me indulge you a little. Gentlemen, 37 years ago to this day, I took Mrs. Hussein, Helen, to the altar. They say for man and woman, woman they wonder waiting man go remember, while man go remember waiting woman go forget, or the other way around. You understand what I mean? So I say, a happy.
He's confused. Since he was not there that day.
I was not there in Calabar, so I say, Helen, I know in
happy married life.
In 37 years,
happy anniversary.
I have not necessarily, shown you love, but I have tried to befriend you in 37 years. It's easier for me. And to the grandchildren, I can see Rume, I can see Eloho, and I can see, what's the middle one? I've forgotten her name. God bless their names. Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so on the program
so
today.
Are we celebrating it? Or
After the show. After the show.
After the show.
Come on.
There are consequences for saying things like this.
There's implications.
There are consequences.
But do you know, sometimes I think I don't know you people.
Don't argue with me.
No, come on.
Yes, you run the show, but don't argue with me on this.
No, okay.
After this hangout, the consequences of saying this, you have to
we'll do it and send the bills to you. Okay. All right. On the program today, dear viewer, Obaseki and Shuaibu reject APC's reconciliation panel as Oyegun assures him of support. Organised Labour and Governors Forum exchange words over minimum wage negotiations, and later on, federal government blames governors as 2,745 inmates await execution. Formally, I'm hanging out this Friday, as always, with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. I greet you, Jide.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Martins Oloja has joined us. I greet you.
Yeah,
Martins, may he bless your Christmas days.
Yes. Mine.
Along with Jide's own.
Yes.
So the team is ready. I hope you are. You know, the intractable, and some would say the ungovernable impasse in Edo State chapter of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the 2020 governorship tussle is becoming so out of hand, it makes no sense anymore. News at our disposal says the Obaseki Shuaibu movement, that's interesting, on Thursday rejected flatly Senate President Ahmed Lawan led APC National Reconciliation Committee group. The group convener is Damian Lawan. He said some of those selected as members of the committee were interested parties. In the meantime, former Edo Governor Chief John Odige Oyegun had declared his support for Godwin Obaseki's second-term bid. This is politics playing out.
Yes.
It is.
Politics being played out in its worst form. We expected that it would be difficult to reconcile these persons. If you recall, on Wednesday we discussed this matter. And
Monday specifically.
was it
Monday? Monday, yeah.
And I said it would be tough to reconcile them because it appears that they've reached an irreversible point in this conflict. Now, what I was expecting was that the Obaseki group will quarrel with having some persons on that list. And that's exactly what they have done. They have abused one another too much for it to be easy to reconcile them. It will take a mighty effort to reconcile these persons, and it appears that both groups have concluded in their hearts that reconciliation cannot happen. So they are working hard to unhinge one another, and at the end of the day, it is the party that suffers because, as I said on Monday, the party in Edo State, the APC in Edo State, and the PDP in Edo State are both very strong. The PDP usually wins the presidential election and does very well in the other elections.
Okay.
If you look at the National Assembly results, in the Senate, the PDP has 2 out of 3. APC,
Senators, yeah.
Yes, APC has 1. Yeah. In the House of Reps, the APC has 5 to PDP's 4. So it's already shaping up to be a hell-of-a fight between both groups. So where you have a situation in which one group is disunited, one group, people they are pulling in different directions, it plays into the hands of the opponent. And why these leaders within the APC cannot really see the danger that some of us see, and which I understand, because you can't continue along this path. There is no team of conciliators that the APC can put together that one group would not quarrel with. For example, if you are saying that because the National Assembly tried to exercise its function, usually when there is crisis in a House of Assembly, the National Assembly has the power to intervene. They've done that in some states. Even when they had that problem in Kogi, I remember that they intervened. You know, so, but the Obaseki group is now saying...
Would you say they intervened successfully?
Not really successfully, but invariably the matter was resolved within the state. Yeah. But at least they intervened. Now, what I'm saying is, the Obaseki group is now saying, oh, after all, it was Lawan, the Senate president, and the deputy House of Reps speaker that tried to hijack the running of the House of Assembly in the state. So to that extent, they cannot be seen as impartial arbiters. I mean, this is brinksmanship, in my view. It's brinksmanship. It's clear that these guys had made up their minds that, look, no reconciliation, reconciliation can happen. And this reinforces what we had said earlier, that it has taken too long. It has taken too long for the leaders of the party to wade into this crisis. It has taken way too long.
Okay. And in politics, anything is possible. Martins, but you know, the old adage, the old maxim is, as in this case, if any quarrel takes too long to settle, it means both parties are wrong. Right? Wrong?
Well, it may not be so, because this time people go to the university to study even conflict resolution, peace building.
As a discipline?
Yes, as a discipline, and peace building, and a mechanism. But you use human beings. They don't reconcile animals, they reconcile human beings. And as it has been repeated several times here, and I think the national chairman himself, who is involved, should know the implications of inability to resolve this conflict in his state. As the national chairman of the party, that people will say that if you cannot take care of your home, if you cannot resolve conflict in your home, what qualification do you have to lead the party? At this national level? I think those questions have been raised here.
Home, in a manner of speaking.
Yes, that he is from Edo State. Obaseki is a product of his own political...
So you are not surprised about the Damian Lawani angle, who is head of the Obaseki Shuaibu movement. So that's like an institution within an institution.
It's an institution within an institution, but if the governor cannot trust his own predecessor in office, who also helped him to be in power, and I think it's not surprising that they cannot resolve it. If Obaseki cannot trust his chairman, if they cannot trust the president of the Senate and deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, because of, as Jide said, because they tried at a time to wade in according to the Constitution. and they were not allowed. He still doesn't trust them. And it's unfortunate that we have institutions like this, and they do not consider, as Babajide said, they do not consider this, the implications, that the consequences that this will have on the election that is coming up. They are watching what is happening in the United States now, when the Republican Party people, whether they like Trump or not, they say, look, we are the Republican Party now. We will not allow this impeachment to take place, especially in the Senate where they have majority. They don't want a crack. That is how you see this one now. And this should have influenced them that whatever differences we have at this time, let's sink our differences. After election, we can continue.
It's just that
unfortunately,
at the times,
it is not in our character.
That's it. That's where I was going. At a time like this, you expect them to, our politicians, to borrow a leaf.
Yes, to borrow a leaf.
Sometimes the leaf is not there.
It's not there.
Jide, but you see, let me go off tangent, but without losing the theme. You know, former Governor Peter Obi of Anambra State said, any governor who steals public money must be mad. Yes. And they asked him why. He said, the office of First Lady, which is not constitutional, has 2 billion assigned to it every month. So 2 billion times 12 is 24 billion. Only. Unaudited, only. I don't know how much for the deputy.
Maybe in the states, so, because some states hardly even get up to 3 billion a month.
Yes.
No, I'm saying the office of First Lady. No, he said, I'm quoting what he said. Let me bring it home. So why I made this statement is simply this. Why do elected people fight to the death?
No, they will
fight like there's no tomorrow.
No, they will fight. They will fight because power is an intoxicant. Power is an opium. Once you have power, you don't want to give it up. You don't want to give it up.
Sorry, let me pause you there. We have company. Emmanuel is reaching us from Jos. Jos is Plateau State, a very cold place at a time like this. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
How do you do, sir? Let's go.
Very well, thank you. You know, the problem with APC is that the impunity in that party is unbecoming. You know, yesterday, Jide and the other...
Go on. Are you there? I lost the link to our brother Emmanuel. Attempt to call us back. So,
yeah. So
the
power is not what you want to give up easily, because to get to power, you must have fought one way or the other. You must have spent so much money, and you don't do all that and give it away cheaply. No, a son will crush his father if the battle is about power.
In the name of politics?
Yes, if the battle is about power, we'll see that happen.
Jide, that means in America, so much would have given in this impeachment saga.
Yes, those politicians, those of them want to impeach Trump. They know that it's a battle
royale.
It's a battle that they must not lose, because the consequences will be grave. You recall when President Clinton was impeached at that time. Those who led the impeachment never returned to the House because the American public punished them severely. You are impeaching a popular president. You've got to pay for it. So this is the way it is in politics. When they make up their mind that they want to do something, they give it their all. I wish that they can give service to the people their all.
Yeah.
But that's not what we see.
Oh, yeah.
They really do not care about you and I. They care so much about themselves. And the definition of a person who thinks about himself all the time is selfish. That person must be selfish. So the politician thinks about himself. He wants the best for himself. And he thinks that for him power is the best thing that he can have, because power will bring influence, will bring money and other things.
Yeah.
So they do not want to give up power easily. That's why they fall out easily. You've seen the governor helped to office. It happened even in Gombe. Goje helped Dan Kwambo to office, but they quarreled almost immediately.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And the day when Gombe's wife died,
Because an elected will want to exercise
control,
be his own man.
be his own man and control the affairs of his state.
Yeah.
They will not want a situation where someone sits somewhere and
They-
will be
they-
backing
they-
out
distracted,
instructions to
yeah.
him. You know, so this is what they do not like. You know, it was so bad that when Goje lost his wife and the governor went to pay him a visit,
Condolence, yeah.
he spent all that time abusing the governor. That this house, you used to come to this house,
Even
my
for-
wife will cook for you.
Condolence visit.
Condolence visit. He now said, you had not visited this house since the day you were sworn in. It has taken the death of my wife for you to
bring
come.
you here.
You know, so that bad blood had been there.
So forgiveness is not on their.
No, for politicians,
Yeah.
it's difficult. What
Okay,
is
it's-
paramount to them is their interest. If it does not, if it is not in sync with their interest to forgive you, they will not forgive you.
Of course,
they will allow the conflict to go
you
on.
remember the first law in the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene? No measure body with your organ.
These ones will measure body and measure other things, as you always say.
Executive powers.
Martins, let's look at the other leg to this story. Former Governor Oyegun, Odige Oyegun, is supporting the incumbent for a second term. So something will be.
Enemy of my enemy.
Yeah, he's your friend. you know what happened. You know the foundation of this.
Okay.
When
Late on me.
the national chairman, the national chairman of the party, is not a friend of Oyegun. So whoever the national chairman does not like, it will be his friend.
Yes.
So he will want, since he knows that national chairman is fighting the governor, let the governor be his friend.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so that is the way it is. But
sorry, let me interject.
Okay.
Abdul Rashid
Yes,
is reaching us from Zamfara.
Go on.
I hear we lost the link to Abdul Rashid. You may go on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now, you know, because this thing will not end. We will have also expected the former chairman, that is the predecessor to
Yeah. Chief Oyegun.
yes, to Oshiomhole, to be a father, you know, to be a father in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Should
The father figure
Yeah,
should,
the father figure.
Yes.
come to the fore.
You know, should come to the fore, and his words in this kind of conflict should bring grace.
Should be gospel.
Yes, to the party and to the thank that they will say no.
Not to deepen the
not
crisis.
to deepen the crisis, to say I will support this because this one hates this. So this is the way our elders, the way they escalate conflict in this place, the role they play sometimes does not resolve conflict because of some character crisis that we are beginning to notice in our leaders. That there should be some maturity. Their words should minister grace to people.
Martin, if you remember the words of the late German general Otto von Bismarck,
Yeah.
he said, in politics, stupidity is not a handicap.
It's not a handicap. But you know, these politics that we are talking about, we have some peculiarity here. It's a very small world now, courtesy of the social media, citizen journalism. You can see things instantly. We can learn lessons we never learned before, we never knew anything about. But the way things are happening now, there should be a man should come to the fore to say, no, we can't continue like this. We cannot continue like this. We should have some elders we can rely on at such a time like this.
And why not? Let's quickly join Ade. He's reaching us from London, the Queen's country. Ade, I greet you.
Stephen Jones.
I greet you, sir. Let's go.
My comment about this issue is that I tried to come in yesterday, but I couldn't. I don't blame Oshiomhole as such, because everybody is looking up to our president. Body language. You can imagine what happened in Ogun State when somebody was throwing stones At the end of the day, Amosun was whining and dining in the palace. You see, so Oshiomhole found her tired. Even though he wants to act, he will be watching the body language of the president. So that if it's like Obasanjo or Jonathan there, you see that the matter could have been resolved. So, and the governor is playing a serious game. If you watched yesterday when Oyegun was there, all PDP senators were there. So probably it's going to PDP, but he wants to cause confusion in APC. The unreasonable doubt before it switched to PDP. Then everything will go. That's the way I view it from this part of the world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because he knows he won't get the ticket.
And what a place to view Nigeria from.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's exactly what I was saying, that our elders should be elders because there should be role models. And, it's not about reading body language. Your character is your character. And you should display it, and people will read it and say, look, this father figure, say, look, we cannot continue like this. Yes, you opposed me when we did this, you opposed me when we did that. But no, at such a time like this, in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the party, let us resolve this conflict before we go into election. Even after election, let some elders play the role of elders. They should not continue to escalate crises or continue to behave in such a way that will not resolve conflict.
Jide,
let elders be elders.
One paramount statement is this, very poignant. There's life after government office, a government job.
After 4 years.
Yes. There's life after it.
But the politician lives for the day.
Here and now.
Yes, as far as the politician is concerned, it is today that matters. Because if a lot of them think deeply, some of the things they do, they won't do because they will think of how they will be judged by posterity. They want to give themselves immortality, but they really don't care. They just behave like someone who really cares about that day and does not give a hoot about the next day. So this is the problem. The APC is weak when it comes to resolving internal conflicts. Since December 4th, 2014, the APC has been divided in Sokoto State. The division arose out of the decision of the leader of the party in the state, Magataka Ali Wamako, to back Tambuwal, the current governor, over other contestants. Now, since that time, no effort has been made to reconcile them. Since 2014, December 4th, 2014, when they had the primaries, they even went to court. People like Senator Umar Dairu, Aliu Seina.
5 years on.
The conflict is still on. Even in this
on.
last election, no effort was made to resolve their conflict. The AGF, there were 5 committees set up to try and wade in. The AGF, Malami led one of the committees. But they still didn't achieve anything because Aliu Wamako, as the leader, believes that, look, it is whatever he says that must happen. And he keeps telling them that, look, in his state, it is Alu that the people do, not APC. Alu is his own sobriquet. That's the name by which he's called. So, yes, he will say, Alu Akei by APC, by APC Akei.
Good. Brings me to this. When you hear APC strange bedfellows who migrated from the PDP, are we saying the same thing?
It is a problem, but it is the character of some of the individuals in the party that is worsening the crisis in the party. You can imagine when someone personalizes leadership and says, look, it is Alu that they are doing, not APC.
Or as the French General de Gaulle said, l'état c'est moi.
Yes,
I am the state.
That's the Louis XVI. That's Louis XVI.
The state is, I am the state.
You know? So
well,
this is the thing.
If you insist the state is moi, I am the state.
That's what Wamako is saying.
Remember these 3 major things. Some of you are referred to one-time governor, some immediate past governor, some former governor, and
or ex-governor.
So the choice is yours. Okay, we must move on. Still to come, Organized Labour and Nigerian Governors Forum exchange words over minimum wage. You want to stick around for that. Okay then, the disinclination of supposed elected governors, I should say, to be over and done with a constitutional national minimum wage brouhaha must be intentional, if you ask me. The Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, and Labour on Thursday disagreed over the 30,000 new national minimum wage negotiations across the 36 states of the country. Forum Chairman and Ekiti State Governor, Chief Executive, if you like, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, insisted that the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, may be unaware of the status of haggling, or if you like, mediation, from state to state. Recall that both the federal government and Labour had on October 18 agreed on a troublous consequential adjustments. The pussyfooting ploy must have an explanation, don't you think?
No, the truth is, we must first admit that progress was made in agreeing about the template to use in terms of the consequential
increase
adjustment to salaries, because that from the beginning we knew would be very, very contentious and rancorous. But invariably, the percentage to add to the salaries were agreed between Labour and government, and everyone left the meeting happy. TUC, NLC, they left the meeting happy. But since that time, when those adjustments were made, there has been a lot of pussyfooting, because the federal government then said, okay, we will cascade this template down to states so that everyone will know what was agreed upon. Of course, in spite of that agreement, because the federal government represents government in the ILO tradition, it is the federal government that represents government.
The state.
Yes, it was a tripartite thing. You have the private sector, you have Labour, and then the federal government. Now, it doesn't mean that because the federal government can pay, that all of those states can pay.
Then force it also, it seems, down the states.
Yeah, no, it can't be forced. So states must now sit with Labour in their respective states and then negotiate. Now, what Labour is saying is that since that agreement
that
was reached,
template,
since that template was instituted, if I could use that word, that there has not been, in many states, there has not been any form of negotiation. Committees have not been set up to negotiate, and they even came up with states. They said Bauchi, Yobe, Rivers, Benue, Gombe, Kwara, Imo, Osun, Ekiti, Oyo, Anambra, Taraba, Cross River, Ogun, Enugu, Nasarawa, Plateau, Kogi, and Delta have refused to set up any committee to look at how they can pay this consequential adjustment. We all agree, yes, they will pay 30,000. That one is settled. But the sticking point is the consequential adjustment to workers' salaries. And Labour is saying, oh, Kaduna, Kebbi, Lagos, Adamawa, that those ones have gone far with in terms of implementation, and they are happy with those states. Now, the governor of Ekiti State, who is the chairman of the Governors Forum, Kayode Fayemi, is saying, no, Labour is not aware that we've been negotiating. So the question is, with who have we been negotiating? Because for Labour to come out, it shows that something is wrong. You cannot say that you are negotiating. If it's workers that you are negotiating with, then the apex workers body will know that you are negotiating.
Labour,
Except if you are saying that these guys are just necessary noisemakers. So with whom were you negotiating those states? You cannot defend all of those states. Maybe in your state, you are negotiating already, but there's no way, there's no art by which you can exonerate all of these states by simply saying, oh, Labour is now aware that some negotiation is taking place, because at least it will be with Labour that they are negotiating. They are not negotiating with ghosts. You know, it's only if we are negotiating with ghosts that Labour will not know that negotiation is taking place. And now Labour is saying those states that they must ramp up the negotiation and then begin to pay from December 31st. Of course, this cannot happen. If we just look at Kwara, now Kwara just set up his own committee.
Body,
It's going to take some time to hammer out a deal.
So
you
December
can't then
31st,
say December 34th.
which
no,
is,
it can't be sacrosanct.
how many days from here? Less than 12
20.
days.
You know, it can't be sacrosanct because you need days and nights of haggling and all that before you be able to hammer out a deal. It's perplexing that next year we will be due for a fresh review of the minimum wage, and we are still battling with this one now. Yes,
Martin, sometimes
that's about 5 years that we wasted.
Sometimes you hear these things and you are not persuaded. You know, so the question would be, what do you think is at the mind of these governors? And this is a constitutional matter.
Well, it's a constitutional matter, and it's one of the consequences of some of the things that we have failed to do. You know, on one hand, these governors want to talk about fiscal federalism. They want to talk about federalism that even the governor of Ekiti State, the chairman of the forum, used one word yesterday: their fingers are not equal.
Oh, yeah.
When did he notice that fingers were not equal?
But remind him that many years ago, when robbers invaded an environment in the Lagos suburb, they said there's one way of making sure all fingers are equal. Keep the fingers on the table and chop them at a level. So this situation has nothing to do with fingers and equality or inequality.
You know, these negotiations, they should take, you see, most of these governors do not take governance as a serious issue. Some of them will not stay at home, will not stay in their capital. Some of them will just be gallivanting
until
all over the
payday.
place. They won't sit down and even plan.
This thing,
they passed this thing long ago. They have had opportunities. They are mentioning about 18 states. They are mentioning so many things that are not happening. Some will just say, Kwara will just set up his own. Maybe after yesterday's meeting, some will. If they hadn't considered the implication of setting up or not setting up this committee until yesterday, how are we sure that they are going to even set it up at all?
Sorry, but let me drop this. A particular south state, I don't forget the name, but I know the story. The governor there forgot there was such a thing as the IGR, because the Commissioner for Finance and the State Accountant General, they frittered this money, keep them for one room until it got to 21 billion.
Only.
And the governor got to know, at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And Wahala came in.
Yes.
So they know what they're doing.
No, definitely they are. Some of them,
they know what they're doing.
With due respect, some of them are not serious about these governance issues. You know, a particular governor too in the Southwest who just got his mandate sealed by the Supreme Court this week. You know, when the appeal court was speaking in tongues, so because of what the governor has been doing, they started praying that may God allow this governor to stay. The governor has paid December salary. We don't need to be advertising. We are talking about a concept.
Because
the governor has paid December
a salary
and he will pay 13th month. The
Hold
governor
on.
in Southwest State.
Hold on. But the governor, by paying December salary, is doing his job.
Yes, he's doing his job.
There's nothing unusual about it.
It's not his job to pay 13th month.
It's not his job to pay.
No, it's not constitutional.
No, what we are saying is that while some are saying that somebody who was in that position before never said that he had money to even pay regularly. That's the kind of unfortunate comparison that we are making.
Martin's one thread runs through all this. It is possible.
It is possible. So what we are saying is that these governors should take this governance issue very seriously. And if they consider federalism to be a very serious issue, which will allow them to make laws on their own state minimum wage, other than national minimum wage that they are battling with, they should consider that very seriously, federalism. To do restructuring in such a way that we make them to consider what they can pay. That this thing we already know the structure is wrong. that, the Borno State and Rivers and other states will be able to...
You cannot do that without an amendment to the Constitution.
To the Constitution.
Because the Constitution says that
now that
they
have a Constitutional Amendment Committee, they want to take Constitutional Amendment very seriously, like the National Assembly now. The governors should be interested in all those provisions that will enable them to run their state smoothly.
I really do not even see why. We are talking about 30,000 as minimum wage. I really don't see that as a big deal. You know, the big deal is the consequential adjustment. Any state incapable of paying 30,000 minimum wage in today's Nigeria should be wound up, because you have an obligation to pay a living wage to your civil servants. Yeah, you have that obligation. But what is 30,000?
There's the first step. As the governor, it pays to identify real workers and ghost workers. You start from there.
A lot of them are not prepared to do that for political reasons.
Oh, really?
Now, there are so many avenues through which the resources of the state, you know, are leaking. If you right-size the civil service, for example, you will free a lot of funds that will enable you to pay a proper living wage to those of them that are left behind.
Yeah.
But you are not prepared to do that because you think your party will lose the next election. So this is the thing. We've been in this kind of situation before. Remember when Oshiomhole became angry over the fact that many teachers were not qualified, that even in some schools, blind people were teaching.
Yeah.
So when he descended on them and decided that they had to go, he was pressured and elections were coming. He reversed himself. So that's not what we want to see. That's not what we want to see, because it's the right thing.
It's a serious issue.
It's the right thing to right-size the civil service. I keep talking about Shuaibu Ahmed Tinubu because he did that during his first term, not caring
if there was a second term
about the fact that that could even cost him a second term. But he went ahead and did it. And the workers were not happy.
The heavens didn't fall.
No, the workers were not happy. In those days, tear gas was flying all over Alausa because workers protested. They even went to court. But in the end, he got a second term and was able to lay a good foundation for the state. So one way by which their states can develop and they can free resources is to take a second look at the civil service. We have a lot of dead woods in the civil service and we are not prepared to do anything about them. Where you have just 3 cars to about 15 drivers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you cannot have that
Remember
situation.
Kaduna State, 14 cars to 7 drivers.
No, 7 drivers.
No, 14 drivers to 7 cars. In taking this home quickly, I have a knack for collecting quotations and so on. An American great mind said, it is better for the people, the government to fear the people than for the people to fear government.
Yes.
Okay, so our job as always is to provoke the debate and set the agenda. Dr. Fayemi, the ball is in your court, you can. Okay then. The subject matter is not an entirely new one, especially when a pertinent issue of prison congestion, or are they correctional centers, is broached. As we sit here, as many as 2,745 prison inmates are awaiting the hangman following their death sentences pronounced over time. Now, the federal government blames state governors for refusing to do the needful. They have either refused to sign death warrants or commute these sentences. Is this catch-24 or Hobson's choice, Jide?
It's just it's a combination of reasons that we are going to be talking about. Governors, by the letters of Section 212 of the Constitution, have the obligation to review sentences handed down by the courts, especially death sentences.
Yeah.
Now, there are all kinds of problems that come with that, which
come with what?
That come with
reviewing.
Come with reviewing.
Okay.
Now, you have a situation in which a governor, a former governor, didn't quite complete the review process. So those files were before him. Another governor comes. The same, he still didn't
go there,
finish everything. You have a state where about 96, there are about 96 condemned prisoners. And you have you have three different governors. They've not been able to finish their, the review.
That's if they started at all.
No, they will look at it, but at the end of the day, a lot of them are chicken-hearted. To simply sign is a difficult thing for them.
Or
because
even commute.
They are not sure. Because in most cases, they will say, am I sure that this person was fairly treated during the trial? How do I then sign? So they would rather that, look, let somebody's blood not be on my hands, and then what they ought to do, they will refuse to do. Another governor comes, the same thing happens. And there's also the gallows, the facility by which lives are taken in our prisons.
I hear hangmen are not many anymore.
No, it's not so much the problem because there is capacity building in prison and all that. There are not enough gallows. For example, in Bauchi, there is no prison in Bauchi that has
a gallows.
So you then have to take prisoners to Jos, because the one in Jos is fine. You then have to take prisoners to Jos to go and execute them. Now, when you do that,
ugly gallows day.
When I'm talking about how effective.
Okay.
You know your state.
Please.
You know your state now. Your former governor built a brand new prison. So you will reckon
I don't know whether
the
gallows there. I don't know.
Of course, if
I've not been there.
The gallows there will be newer. So, but please, the point that I'm making is,
okay, no, I got
when you. The law is that when you take the prisoner to
the gallows
to Jos, the governor of Plateau State and the governor of the Bauchi State must both sign the execution warrant.
Okay.
So usually what the other governor says, I don't know about this case, so I don't want to sign death warrant over something that I know nothing about. So this thing has been piling. In 2013, we had 970 of them awaiting death. 2017, it came to 1,612. By 2018, it was 2,359. And Oshiomhole was complaining that governors were refusing to sign death warrants. By 2019 now, it is 2,745. We are talking about prison congestion. This is one of the reasons why we have prison congestion.
Martins, in 2013, I've forgotten the month now, former or then governor Oshiomhole of Edo actually signed the death warrant.
I mean, he mean the only governor who has.
Yeah, but would you say, looking back,
signed recently.
Would you say he played to the gallery?
No, that's exactly.
He did his job.
That was what I was, why I was smiling when he was talking. He used the right word. He said so many of them are chicken-hearted.
Yeah, say they don't want blood for hand.
Yes, for hand. You know, it's a very serious matter. You know,
but do you know that is even more laughable? I don't want blood for hand. Meanwhile, in getting
donkey person.
Oh, come on.
You see, you know, I must have repeated here this Shakespearean saying several times here that any mercy that forgives a murderer encourages murder.
Good. Let me give you this name. Prophet King, Raymond King, Lagos State.
Raymond?
Yes.
Is that his name?
No, not
Reverend King. Reverend King. Okay, I'm sorry, not Raymond. Okay. The Supreme Court affirmed his death sentence.
You still there?
And he still they wait because they say the man tell him followers, I am the Lord, I'm Jesus. They no go kill me. And so on. When a bluff like that, when a bluff like that goes viral,
definitely,
there's something cooking on that.
That mercy that forgives that murderer encourages murder.
Yeah.
No, but they've not shown him mercy. Probably his file has not been brought before the government.
No, but you look at the figures you are quoting.
I'm saying it here. I'm spying on. I'm spying on your paper. 2013, 970. And look at the progression. So what are we saying?
I'm saying that it's possible that even his own file, they've not taken. Do you know how many of them in a state like Lagos? Do you know how many?
But look at the consequences. There is the consequences of this refusal to exercise courage that we are talking about.
That's where the Americans are different.
Yes. If we don't want capital punishment as
expunge it.
Yes, let's expunge
take a decision at the National Assembly or State Assembly that we don't want capital punishment. But, he mentioned something, these little things that matter. We are talking of prison congestion. Recently, the Interior Minister, Correctional Center.
Congestion.
Yes,
they
Correctional
say they
Center.
don't like prison.
Don't worry about that. Correctional Center. What's
know
the
what we
name?
are talking about.
Okay.
We know what we are talking about. Recently they suspended so many officers in Lagos, in the zone, over
the Ikoyi prison.
Yeah, the Ikoyi prison, without considering if we even gone there to see a room that is supposed to take maybe 45. We've taken 150. This prison congestion he just mentioned is a very serious matter. And now, look at the number in more than 2,000. What are we going to do with them eventually? The offenses they have.
And
what this thing is supposed to correct in the correctional centers. Have not been corrected. So we have to
Some
call
of them
on
have been
governors.
on death row for more than 20 years.
More than 20 years.
What can be more traumatizing than that?
So
Simply waiting for the
the example you
hangman.
gave about somebody who is saying that they can't kill me, they make mockery of our law. The governors should exercise courage.
Nobody can touch me.
Nobody can touch me. And then some Babalawo and some Marabul people will be saying we are responsible for keeping you alive.
You remember when
it's unfortunate.
When George Walker Bush was governor of Texas, before he contested the election in the U.S., there was this woman who used the ice pick to stab her boyfriend many times, killed the man. Then in prison, she became a born-again Christian and was moving from cell to cell, preaching to people. So the late Pope was moved by her efforts, at working for the salvation of people's souls. The Pope then appealed to George W. Bush that since this person has repented, please don't sign her death warrant. But George W. Bush ignored the Pope, signed the death warrant, and said, "May the Lord have mercy on your soul."
Because
and a while later,
that's always the last
courage.
line.
Courage. That's what you call courage in the face of overpowering pressure. In the face of overpowering pressure, George W. Bush refused to listen to the Pope, and other people were coming to him that, look, this is a changed person, this and that. The law must take its course.
The law is the law.
Yes, the law is the law. So he signed the death warrant and addressed the people of the state. As Texas governor said, may the Lord have mercy on your soul. And after that, shortly after that, the woman was executed. So that's the way it should be.
Martin, so the debate is an interminable one. Capital punishment to be or not to be.
Or not to be. And I think that if we don't want capital punishment as part of the provisions of our law, let them expunge it. Let there be a consensus that we don't want it. But remember, any mercy that forgives a murderer encourages murder.
And every bad
behavior. In this
behavior.
case, it's not even that they are forgiven. It's an unwillingness to do their duty. It's not, they are not, because there are very few of them who have been pardoned. Very few of them. If they were pardoning them.
If you don't want to sign, commute it.
Get the
and
point that
also
I'm
sign.
making. If they were pardoning people, if they were showing mercy to them, the figure won't be rising. From 970 in 2013 to 2045.
Which is
so they are simply not doing their work.
Yes, we can modify it
blunt,
this way. That
blunt refusal to do.
They are not doing their job. That's the thing.
Any executive lawlessness that keeps these people there encourages criminality.
It is not even
I go talk say,
lawlessness. It is
Negligence.
negligence.
Yeah.
A desire. I mean, an overriding desire to not do your job.
Negligence.
You get voted into office, you must do that job without caring about what people say.
All right, we have a lady here. Victoria is reaching us from Jos. Oh, Christopher, Christopher is here from Jos. Christopher, I greet you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes,
Good
sir.
Evening.
Yes, sir. So my question is just about what you just said about the Pope asking the former president of
Texas.
America.
Texas.
No,
Yes.
George W. Bush.
As governor of Texas, yeah.
Okay, as governor of Texas, sir. So what about if it is me? Someone killed one of my brother or sister, parent like that. What about if I forgive the person? Is it wrong for me to forgive that person?
Christopher,
No, that's your personal problem.
The
You can
law
forgive.
is the law.
The thing is, when he kills your brother, it becomes a case that he has against the state.
It's a state matter.
It's not your matter anymore. It is the state that will prosecute him.
It don't come out from your hand.
No, it's out of your hands.
criminal
No matter how kind you are, the state cannot be bothered. The state will enforce its laws. So if the person deserves to die, he should die.
And since Martin don't take us go Bible, David was a bad boy. The son was a badder boy. They say God still loved them. But God still punished David.
Yes, David.
Yes, sir,
So
yes.
every crime must be
The product of his illegal copulation
or something like that.
died. Maybe?
The soul
So-
that
so-
sinned.
Shall die. It shall die. All right. So
Let them do their work. Just
Yeah.
do your work.
Show courage.
5 days to go to Christmas, and I know Martin's Oloja can't wait for Christmas Day.
You know that we don't have holiday on this job.
No, you are telling me. I don't know. And Babajide Kolade-Otitoju.
Just tell us what you got.
Yeah. Until
The implication, don't forget the
Oh, yeah,
implication.
Consequences of telling
God.
we
us
are going to
about your
sign.
anniversary.
We are going to sign the law. But
Under-
once
There's
again,
a cunas warrant.
Yes.
the child whose name I missed was Wairi. I didn't. It was not deliberate. So the trio, Rume, Wairi, and Eloho. Thank you.
Hello, I greet you.
I greet you.
Waire, I greet you.
And of course,
greet you.
Rume.
You will grow up to be bigger than your grandfather.
Oh yes.
Amen.
Oh yes. Okay.
Amen.
That's it. And on the program for now. But if you miss any part of it, you may also watch the program on other platforms. We'll show you on the screen. And on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. And so on behalf of the Backroom Boys here, I am Citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye for now. Bless you.